I had just rented a room across from a couple, and I couldn't help but spy on their lives, even discovering evidence of the man's infidelity. But unexpectedly, all of this led to a crisis in my own life. I too was an object of voyeurism. Just put it there, please. I directed the movers on where to place our things. This was the new home for Kevin Buckland and me. We had rented a large flat in the city center at a bargain price. The only requirement from our landlord was not to put curtains on the living room's floor-to-ceiling windows. Though puzzled, the deal was too enticing, and since we lived in the bedroom, the absence of curtains in the living room didn't seem too important. On reflection, it was quite romantic. We could see the sunrise and sunset from our living room every day. Kevin unpacked, while I observed our surroundings through the floor-to-ceiling windows. The neighborhood consisted of encircling high-end apartment buildings with excellent amenities and property management. It was our luck to rent such a place at this price. Suddenly, I noticed the residents opposite us. They also had a similar floor-to-ceiling window, but they had curtains. The neighbors seemed to be a couple as well, with the man painting and the woman cooking in the kitchen, looking very affectionate. "What are you looking at?" Kevin, noticing my engrossment, wrapped his arms around my waist and followed my gaze. "They are just like us." I turned around, realizing that he had already finished organizing everything at home. "Wow, you're amazing. You have finished so quickly." "Yes, I'm nearly dead tired. Look, she's even cooking for her husband," Kevin teased as he watched the girl cooking across the way. "Alright, you've worked hard, hubby. I'll go cook now to reward my wonderful husband." And so, we officially settled in here, and that was when the nightmare began. I opened a coffee shop not far from here, and Kevin performed regularly at a nearby bar. We rented this place to be close to our respective workplaces. Like usual, I rushed home to cook before mealtime, since Kevin started work in the evening. I was quickly preparing everything when I noticed the couple across from us arguing. The man furiously threw down his paintbrush, and the woman yelled at him. Then they started throwing things at each other, and the scene was quite horrific. "Oh, no, it's burnt." Perhaps I was too engrossed in watching them. Suddenly I smelled something burning, but Kevin beat me to it and turned off the stove. "Irene, what were you thinking? It's the first time I've seen you burn something." I pulled Kevin over to show him. "Look, they are fighting so fiercely. I hope nothing bad happens." They seemed to be arguing even more violently. The woman was more hysterical than before, beginning to pound on the man's chest with her hands. How could they argue like this? Weren't they fine just a few days ago? Kevin was also puzzled. These past few days had been as peaceful as the first day we moved in, and it was unclear why such a fierce argument had erupted today. But what happened next was beyond mine and Kevin's imagination. The woman, hitting as she had been, suddenly buried her head in the man's chest and began to sob. Somehow, the man then lifted her face and deeply kissed her. Their kiss was intense and inseparable, and gradually, the man's hands began to wander. Kevin chuckled. "They're just a couple fighting and making up. No need for us to worry." Kevin then covered my eyes. "The next scene is not suitable for a girl like you. You shouldn't be peeking." Speechless, I obviously knew what they would do next. I was not a child. At our dinner, Kevin went to work, and after cleaning up everything, my curiosity led me to the bay window. I still secretly hoped to see if the earlier incident was continuing, but I was disappointed because they had drawn the curtains, and I could see nothing. That evening, I stayed in the living room, the TV on, but I occasionally glanced across, hoping they would open the curtains. I even fell asleep on the sofa waiting.